She is the salt of the earth. He is not worth his salt. Don't rub salt in his wound. You should take that with a grain of salt. Without salt, the feast is spoiled. What's the deal with salt? I'm glad you asked. Salt. This tiny little grain on my French fries seems to be a very big deal. Not just to French fries, but to religion. Did you know that salt is mentioned over 40 times in the Bible? Sometimes in dramatic ways, like when Lot was fleeing from Sodom and Gomorrah. As the city blew up around them, Lot's wife disobeyed the angel and turned to look back at the city. And she turned into a pillar of salt. Hey, we should do a Bible theater episode on Sodom and Gomorrah. If we do, can I play Lot's wife? How am I doing? Do I look like a pillar of salt? Oh. My nose is itching. Shameless plug. Next, you should check out Caitlin in our bizarre Bible bite as she reenacts the pillar of salt. Compare performances. Usually, salt is mentioned in less dramatic ways, like when the king, Artaxerxes, sends Ezra to Jerusalem. The king tells the treasury to give Ezra a bunch of supplies, including an unlimited amount of salt. I guess that is a big deal, because salt was so valuable in the Bible. Roman soldiers were often paid in salt. Do you know the word salary? That's how much mom and dad get paid for working. Well, the word salary comes from the Latin word for salt. In the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus says, "You are the salt of the earth." To know what this means, we have to look at some of the uses of salt. The first thing salt does is add flavor to food. There are a lot of things that may taste bland. Add salt and I'm blanking on an example right now. Man, if only I could think of something that tastes great with salt. Oh well. In a symbolic way, salt makes things more enjoyable, more delicious. If we are the salt of the earth, part of our job is to make life more enjoyable, more delicious for those around us. It's another way of saying that we should be a blessing to others. Another thing salt does, and what made it so valuable in ancient times, is preserve food. Back in the day, before electricity, people didn't have refrigerators and freezers. Well, except in the winter. So their food would go bad pretty quickly, get all moldy and gross and ew. One way to make food last longer was to salt it. The salt would slow down the decay. Not only that, but salt was also used as a disinfectant. People would put salt on things to make it so that germs could not grow. So, as a metaphor, you are the salt of the earth. The world has a lot of bad in it. Part of our job is to bring goodness into that badness, to slow down the decay of the world, to clean it up in a sense. So how do we do that? Suppose some kids around you are telling bad jokes. First, we don't laugh along or tell our own bad jokes. Instead, offer some clean jokes to replace the bad ones. Or say some kids are picking on another kid. Don't join in. Maybe even reverse the teasing and encourage the kid that's being bullied. Slow down the decay and offer something more cleansing. Be like Jesus, right? To sum up, Jesus says you are the salt of the earth. First meaning, you are valuable in God's eyes. And you have a job to do. Bless others with your flavor. Slow down the decay and bring the light of Jesus everywhere you go. Then, you will be worthy of your salt. His word is forever alive. Fun fact, did you know that in the United States, we use more salt to de-ice our roads in the winter than all other uses combined? So another salt metaphor, being the salt of the earth means keeping each other safe or keeping each other from being too icy. or reminding us to head south for the winter where it's warm and we don't have to worry about slipping on the ice and landing on our bottoms and being embarrassed because we happen to slip and fall right in front of Jim Crowley. And no more salt metaphors. Instead, check out thesuperbookshow.com to learn more about salt in the Bible. See you next time. He is not worth his salt. Not just to religion, but what? Then you will be worthy of your salt.